Hello there, I'm Nathalia Melo, your unfiltered fit BFF. Mom of two turned CEO of a fitness empire. Someone who truly understands the struggles of trying to stay fit, sane, and sexy, all while juggling work, life, and motherhood. And this is the Unfiltered Fit Life podcast. Follow along wherever you're listening and join me weekly as I help busy working moms just like you simplify your fitness journey so you can lose fat, regain your confidence, and feel sexy AF. It's time to stop living in the what ifs and hiding from the cameras. It's time to regain control over your body, feel sexy naked, and wear a bikini confidently. People already see you as a super confident woman, but it's time for you to feel the same way too. Come on, let's go. Hello there, fam. Welcome to another episode of the Unfiltered Fit Life podcast. I'm Nathalia Melo, your host. And today I have a very special guest, and I'm going to tell you why this guest is very special. Because the way that we, quote unquote, met is not your common way of meeting. I think the story that we're going to tell you, and I'm going to let James tell the story. I think there is a lesson behind how we learned. But anyway, James has become a friend and he is a fitness professional. He's been in the industry for almost 20 years. He's done everything possible in the fitness industry, held all jobs. He's now a coach alongside his wife, Erica Cappola. Did I pronounce correctly?
Yep.
Look at me. I misspelled it in your invite, but I fixed it. And, he has gone through hell and back with extreme diet culture with himself. That's why he is where he is right now with making his mission to show everyone that you can maintain quality of life and reach your fitness goal. James, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. And it's so funny that you bring up how we met because I completely forgot about that.
Oh my God, how would I not start the conversation with that?
Yes, I did call you out. Who you were and what you stood for, and you really do show all the good qualities of a proper coach. If I did my due diligence, I would have seen it, but I think it was a post about keeping your partner accountable. And there's so many toxic people who have very damaging posts about that, and they make it very toxic. So I'm conditioned that when I hear a certain topic, I'm just like, oh, this must be that. And I will say that when I called you out, I was fairly tamed compared to how I call others out. I didn't call you anything from what I can remember. And our mutual buddy, Andrew, said, hey, she's actually pretty great and stuff like that. And I'm like, all right. So I reached out to you and then we squashed it and I deleted it, which I always do if they either apologize or if I was wrong, because I'll never leave something up just for clout at the expense of someone else who doesn't deserve it. And I'm happy that that happened.
Yeah, no, and just for I'm gonna take a few steps back. So James does a lot of content on his social media, which I truly believe that you are doing God's work with calling out a lot of the people that you do. So a lot of his content is stitching other creators' stuff and calling them out on a lot of the BS. And I had a post that was basically something that my husband and I stand for. And funnily enough, James and I had a conversation and we're like, oh my goodness, yeah, we very much agree with that. Just the way that the delivery is made was, I worded in a way that maybe he wouldn't have. But I think that the belief behind it was the same in the sense of
I think that at the end of the day, you just want what's best for your partner. And that's where you're coming from, as opposed to the people who are like, they can't let themselves go. And by their interpretation of letting themselves go, they mean like anything outside of being like stage ready, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. And being in the fitness industry as long as we have, and you're going to share your story with extreme diet culture and that you have personally being a part of, I think that we are very sensitive to some trigger words and things like that. But I think that there is something to be said about how I think civil we were able to have that conversation, which I think that that's something that I wish happened more in the fitness space, because there is a lot of he's a piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. And there is no opportunity to kind of understand where each person, obviously there's always going to be like a bunch of charlatans in the industry, but I do think that
Correct.
the way that we spoke in a very civil manner allowed us to see each other's perspective. And I think that there is something to be learned there.
Yeah, I agree. And for the people who think that I'm just problematic and I only call out people who I disagree with, I'm not 6. I don't care if you disagree with me. I called you out because you're being toxic or pushing misinformation. And if you combat me in the DMs, I will combat you back. But if you want to have a civil discussion, then that's exactly what I'll have. Maybe it was from a perspective that I didn't understand. Maybe you want to explain yourself. Maybe like anything. But if you just throw more fuel to the fire, then that's exactly how I'm going to respond.
Yeah, yeah. And let me ask you this, James. How did you get here? Because I do know, I feel like you tell your story like in chunks. Obviously, we always tell the parts that would be more relevant. But how did we get here? Like, what got you to the place where you are right now, with being such a big advocate for, for sustainable fitness strategies?
Well, I always thought that the end goal was just looking the part and being jacked, being lean, whatever it is. And I was never really toxic about it when it came to my clients, thank God. I was always realistic about how they did it, but I did assume that they wanted to get there as well. And I was never kind to myself and how I got there. And I always thought that I would just do it with brute force. So extreme diets, extreme workouts, and then due to the deprivation, I would binge drink, binge eat, drugs, stuff like that. And it didn't take long for me to realize I was just living 2 separate lives and I had to live one consistent one, and I had to be sure of what I wanted. So for the first time in my career, I had to just accept me for who I am and just work on myself and be patient. And for the first time, I didn't flip-flop back and forth between like physiques or like results. I've just been perfectly consistent since like 2021. And I haven't had that before. And I'm like, oh my God, this is all you had to do, was just tell everyone to go fuck themselves and just be comfortable with yourself?
And what was the come to Jesus moment for you that made you realize that whatever it is that you're doing? Because I can almost, like, for me, obviously coming from the background of competing, like poster child of extremes, very grateful for the opportunities that I got, but poster child of extremes. I can't pinpoint like one specific come to Jesus moment for me. What was there one for you?
I was at a bachelor party in Cabo. It was like 5 a.m. and we were just doing blow and drinking, and my buddy just took a picture of me, and I was just 250, just bloated, blacked out, and I'm just like,
What am I
that's
doing?
that's not the owner of an online coaching company. Like, it was one thing for me to get like drunk and stuff and kind of just like put blinders on and lie, but if you see it from an outside perspective, you're like, oh, all right, so this has to stop now, otherwise I'm just gonna get worse and worse. So that's when I just realized, okay, you dug quite a hole for yourself here. It's going to be a while for you to get out. So just be patient with yourself. Chase performance, because you know how you get when you chase aesthetics. Just get strong, be mobile, everything like that. And I was feeling better because for the first time in my life, I wasn't fueled by hate for myself. I was fueled by care for myself.
And do you think that there was also the layer of like the imposter? Like, you almost feel like an imposter. You're like talking to your clients and you're telling them, like, you almost like portray yourself as like this, godlike, and I'm exaggerating obviously, but and
Sure.
people look up to you, and then you're like, shit, like I was getting shit faced and doing all the things on the weekend, and I'm telling people that toast is bad for them. You know what I mean?
I never felt inadequate as a fitness professional when it came to how I dealt with the public and my clients. I've always had that on lock. Anything that I had to work on was just me versus me.
But that's what I'm saying, like the disconnects between who you show up for your clients and what you're telling. Like, it's do as I say, not
right,
do as
but
I do.
I didn't really feel that way, because it's not like I would tell them not to eat anything or anything like that. I didn't tell them to be restrictive. They know that I drank and stuff. I was always pretty upfront. Like my programming didn't change. My ability to connect with them and validate them, listen to them didn't change. So I never really had imposter when it came to the job that I had to fulfill. I had imposter syndrome with me just not being the best version of myself.
Okay. And how do you think that impacted, the areas of your life when there was that like belief about yourself?
It was rough because I lived for everyone else's validation. I needed dopamine wherever I could because I obviously wasn't getting it from myself. So I was an impulsive spender. I was in a lot of debt. I looked for opportunities to party as often as I could, to just eat from massive deprivation, and just all cheap dopamine that I was just trying to force because I couldn't get it just naturally from just existing and caring for myself.
And like kind of changing gears a little bit, I love, which it's not really changing gears because I do think that it connects a little bit with what you're saying, because now you have a child. Right. And we're going to talk a little bit about your experience with becoming a dad, because it wasn't as smooth as it is for most, but she's well and healthy now and beautiful. And I love seeing her on your social media. But
see dumbbells, deadlifts, and daughters.
I love it. I love it. If she's anything like my daughter with my husband, with you, she's going to own you. Probably already does, but as she grew, like my husband would literally come to me. He's like, she scares me sometimes because she literally bosses him around. It's funny. But I love how you call out a lot of the very douchey younger influencers. Because, and again, going back to your beginnings as a young trainer, obviously, you were doing the best that you knew at the time, but I can speak for myself. I have evolved a lot, especially as I became a parent, as I became older.
Sure.
There is a lot of perspective change. So I love how you call out that kind of behavior, because I see a lot of times, at least for me, some of our clients comparing themselves to the 20-year-old whose job is to have a six-pack. Is this something that you're seeing? Is this something that it kind of drives you as well to call out this kind of behavior because you're seeing the negative impact? Like what is the driver for you to call out this kind of behavior, the douchey young dude that is like, oh, if you don't have a six-pack, you're a piece of shit, like that kind of stuff?
Yeah, because I've really gone through so much in my life and I overcame so much, and I have a lot of education in this field. I'm very well versed in what to do, and I couldn't get out of my own way. This was very difficult for me. And for someone to be so insecure and short-sighted to just be like, oh, you just lack discipline. You just don't know this. You're just a loser. This, that. I just want to make, oh, God, you spend a day in my shoes and do what I did. And just like, they're so wrapped up in themselves and their insecurities, and they need to force their value down our throats, and they don't realize that their value should speak for itself from just being a natural leader. And they're only a leader for themselves. And I can tell that they're bitter because it's not going as they thought, because they don't know how to work with people. They just want to treat people as horribly as they treated themselves. They didn't evolve. I'm not impressed by their physique. I'm not impressed by their following.
I mean, but they're 20 years
they're
old.
making people feel like shit.
It's not that they have had a long journey to.
And it's not even the young ones. It's 50-year-olds. It's just anyone who is bitter at the world because they thought, I know, I'll get in really good shape, and that will be my marketing. That will be my billboard. And then I can see them getting pissed off when it's not going how they thought, because they haven't learned how to deal with people and how to do proper behavior change, and they're stuck in their own way.
Yeah. And what has been the most, and that's going to be hard because, first of all, I don't know how you find all the unhinged shit that you comment on.
They send it to me. Everyone sends it to me.
I've tried. I'm like, I can't, I know that there is unhinged stuff on TikTok, afoot, but I can't find as much of the unhinged stuff that you find. And I'm like, where, how, it's a full-time job.
Yeah, I get thousands of DMs a day, and they just send it to me. So it's
Oh, the
effortless.
public is doing God's work with you. I love
Yes.
it. What has been the most unhinged thing that you stitched on? Like craziest thing?
I'm trying to think of something I got very angry at. I hate seeing kids forced to be on the carnivore diet and drink raw milk and things like that.
Liver King, anybody?
Not just Liver King. I've seen just so many families just like proud of the fact that they don't let their kids have anything and they give them raw milk and all that. And it's just like, you think you're teaching them good habits? That, and I've seen men saying that there's no reason for like women to like gain weight after pregnancy. They should like bounce back right after. I get furious at that because I'm like, you do it then.
Yeah, yeah.
And I really resent bounce back culture because they just gave life and they're like, all right, now back to being eye candy. And I just think it's...
And I agree. I'm just offering things from a perspective that we've had conversations on the DMs about this. So I kind of know roughly where you stand, but I would love to have this conversation here because that's my take. I do think that there is a very significant toxic culture on that end. But do you think that body positivity can also become toxic whenever it kind of almost it starts to invalidate the true feeling? Because, you know, you have women that do feel uncomfortable in their bodies. And then you have like the body positivity parade that is like, oh, you're just so blessed. And then the woman starts to, like, and the men, I think, start to feel a bit crazy. You're like, well, but like, I don't feel blessed. I don't feel good. I want to work in bettering myself. And it's almost like, I call it a gaslighting.
Sure. But so I understand there's a lot of people who are taking care of themselves. They're literally in the gym doing the work. And what do we see in the comments if they don't look perfect? What do we say? Yeah. So I myself, I'm in fantastic shape. I am. I get fat shamed daily. My wife gets fat shamed daily. So as far as body positivity goes, where's the line of being metabolically healthy and being proud of yourself? Social media is making it more unrealistic than ever. If you have an ounce of confidence in a body that's not approved in the fitness realm and social media, you get shit on, regardless of what your capabilities are, regardless of your metabolic health. It's rare that I see people celebrating risk factors or just excessive fat. They're just celebrating themselves. And if they continue down a road that's not conducive to their health, then that's a separate conversation, right? But if they are, in fact, showing up and doing what they should do, but they're just getting shit from the public because they don't fit a certain mold, fuck that. That's how I feel.
No, I do agree with that. I think that my point is more the message, not to the people on social media, the message from social media to, you know, I speak with women daily. I was actually just in a mom's group the other day, and there was a lady saying that she hasn't, like, she's in a funeral and she hasn't seen photos of herself because she's embarrassed. And then you look at the comments and then you have all these women, oh, boo, just like go ahead and do it, which I don't disagree, but I think that we're treating the symptom of something that is deeper in just telling the person to just do it or wear it or do the thing doesn't address. I think that's toxic. I don't think that solves the problem.
Sure, it doesn't. It doesn't. I don't think that anyone should try to encourage a lifestyle that's not conducive to their health. However, I think that they should just, in fact, chase the healthy lifestyle. Yeah. The body should be a byproduct of that. Because what happens is if you chase the body, then you might start doing it by any means necessary where you throw your physical and mental health on the back burner, just like I did, just like a number of people do. And I feel like there's all this talk about body positivity and risk and stuff like that, but there's no talks about eating disorders that might come from the desperation to finally be acceptable, as opposed to people who are taking care of themselves and who are confident. I want them to be confident when they're like obese. They'll buy more workout clothes. They'll show up to the gym more. I don't want them hiding away until they're acceptable.
Yes, I 100% agree with that. And I think that's especially on TikTok, which is concerning with a lot of young girls. I think you did a stitch the other day, I think it was yesterday, with the woman like literally seasoning her snack, which was like a lettuce leaf. I'm like, is that what
Yeah.
we're like? I legit thought that she was going to put an ice cube inside of it. Like, swear to God, I thought that the next thing that she was going to put inside was going to be ice cube, which is crazy because then again, younger generation, what are they going to do? Which brings me, you have a daughter. Obviously, your daughter is very young. Is she one yet?
She's 14
Okay,
months.
so she's 14 months. How do you feel now as a parent? How do you feel about your child having social media?
I'm gonna have to talk her like through it and everything. I'm gonna like have to kind of educate her as she grows up to just always be yourself. Don't whatever you're feeling, say it. Like, just don't try to put on a mask for anyone, and trying to just illustrate that in a way that she would understand. And just, if you're going to be in shape, if you're going to take care of yourself, which is what we want, it should be just for your own fulfillment and never for anyone else's needs or expectations.
What age do you think that it would like? And again, I'm 41. I don't know how old you are, but like even sometimes, and as a
36.
41-year-old on social media, like I get overwhelmed because, like
Okay.
for example, like you said, you are in great shape and you are going to have somebody who is like, oh my God, who this guy thinks he is, like he's fat or whatever. And I'll post a picture of myself. There'll be somebody who says that she looks like a man. She's too skinny. She's too fat, too much muscle, not enough muscle. Like all of it. And I think we're like, you almost get pulled in all directions. And me, as I have a daughter, I find it very concerning to have such young children having their character developed by a whole bunch of people's different opinion.
Oh yeah, so I just remembered the most unhinged, the whole Andy Elliott thing with his
We
daughters.
both commented on that.
Yeah,
That shit was unhinged.
yeah. I wanted to jump through the screen with that.
Just for context for everybody listening. So there was this guy that literally, he was doing a presentation and he was saying how he told his daughters that if they got 6-pack abs, he would buy them everything that they wanted whenever they got to Dubai. But it didn't end there. This mofo made how old were they? Like 12 and 9?
12 and 9, yeah.
His 12 and 9-year-old lift their shirts.
To a room full of testosterone-driven men.
Correct. And the children, like, visibly looked uncomfortable. And I'm looking at that and, like, I died a slow death. Like, there's so many levels of wrong there, I cannot even.
And the people who fought back, at least in my comments, are like, what? He's showing discipline. Everyone is so soft. This is how... I was like, none of you know the first thing about discipline. It is all self-serving. It is all what you get out of it. And it is like, what? You deprive yourself and you work out. Very impressive. What else? What else do you have discipline with that's actually conducive to the world?
In one message...
Drives me nuts how much they're blowing themselves.
In one message does it send, I think, to your young daughters, like that their value comes exclusively from how they look. And if they look a certain way, they get like taken shopping. And, like, at least for me, I want a daughter who can stand on her own 2 feet and has depth. Do I want her to feel comfortable with how she looks? Yes, but I want her to also have depth.
It's just wild to me that you can have, like, there's a fork in the road and there's one side where you could be active and mobile and have fun and have, like, fruit and protein and this and that, and it's a wonderful thing. And then there's just, you need to look this lean. Yeah. You need approval. You're nothing without this. It's like just so bright and fun and just dark. And it's just, some people just go that dark route because they think that they need it. It's like, why? Yeah. Why? Because you're miserable? Go get help. Don't take it out on them.
No, I agree. And how do you think, because now being a dad, for me, becoming a parent was a big turning point on perspective, I think, of everything, on how I conduced my own fitness journey, how I felt about my body. How do you feel that having your daughter has changed, if anything, how you perceive your own fitness journey?
Well, I mean, thankfully, I already started healing myself before she came. So it hasn't changed that much in that regard. And I used to run a kids fitness program, ages like 4 to 13. Really? So yeah, back in the beginning of my career. So I had a lot of experience with kids, and I was still messed up myself, so I think that I would bring a lot more tools to the table now as far as like sustainability. But it's just my point about always just bringing it back to how this should always improve your quality of life. This should always be a good thing. It should never be something you dread. It should never be something that you resent. It should never be something that just makes you feel bad. And that's what I want to illustrate.
And again, still on the topic of becoming a parent, because y'all's journey with the birth of your daughter was a bit intense. Obviously, now everything is great, but she was an NICU baby. She was born. Do you want to tell the story? And then I will ask my question.
She was born at 27 weeks, 1 pound, 15 ounces. I remember when the doctors told my wife that she was going into labor, and I just turned as pale as a ghost because we already had a miscarriage. So I just had to prepare myself for this. And then we spent about 2 days in the hospital until she finally gave birth, and she quickly just had to go to like the incubator and everything like that. So I had her squeeze my finger for a second, and my wife didn't get what she couldn't wait for, was just like holding her against her and everything. So I think that broke my heart more because I understood the reality of what was happening. I just saw her face. I was holding her hand during it, and it was just really hard. And then we just waited till we could see her, and we just saw this just little thing just in like the incubator, and we didn't realize that she was going to be in there for she was going to be in the NICU for 6 months, 5 different surgeries.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that it was that long, James.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
6 months.
That is a long time.
Yeah. So first she was in Jersey, and we had to drive about an hour there and an hour back every day and just maintain the business and act like we weren't going through the hardest time in our lives. Plenty of times I broke down on camera. I even Tammy do a post for me telling me that everything's going to be okay because I couldn't talk about it myself. So I thought that this would be a unique way to do it.
And just for context, guys, Tammy is his alter ego with a blonde wig. It's hilarious. It's like the Barb.
Brunette.
Oh, it's brunette. So Barb is blonde.
Yeah.
But it's his alter ego. We've been planning to do something with Tammy and Barb for some time. But anyway, carry on. And,
each surgery that she had, we would just had to kind of hold her breath, but she was so strong. And then eventually she got moved to Columbia and New York. So then again, it was about an hour each way, and we just had to make that work. And we just saw her grow. And as her personality grew, that's when I was being pulled to her more. I think that most parents know that, like, from the beginning, the mother is biologically connected. The father just kind of has a disconnect in the beginning, but you definitely have a disconnect if you can't hold your baby until 6 weeks, right? My love was growing and growing. And then we brought her home on Christmas Eve.
What a gift.
An idiot.
What a gift.
Yeah, kind of. This was one of the worst nights of my life. She had a feeding tube, like a G tube, and she had oxygen. And the nurses walked us through what to do, but we're not nurses. They're just like, all right,
off you go.
See ya. And then I remember it's like 3 a.m. that Christmas Day, and we're just like, we don't know what to do. We don't know what to do. We don't, just like the bandage from the G tube is leaking and this and that, and like the oxygen's going, and we're just like hyperventilating. Like, how could they just leave us with this?
What do I do with it?
Yeah. And just like our family just helped a lot. I had a little freak out on Christmas. For some reason we decided to host Christmas, and I was cooking a prime rib, and I remember just throwing the butter because I was just freaking out. And eventually we just got a rhythm going, and then the oxygen came off, and then we stopped using the G tube, and then everything was getting easier and easier and easier. And here we are today, and she's just so strong and so great. And it's hard to believe that was our reality for so long.
And how, and my child was not in a NICU for the amount of time that your daughter was. And just the little time that we did spend in the NICU, And I wasn't driving an hour. It was 10 minutes away from where I lived. And I, like, honestly, I still, like, I still can smell the room. It's so crazy, you
Yeah.
know? And how do you think that period, because I don't think that anybody goes into, parenthood, or I feel like a lot of times people are always looking, oh, it's always going to get better. There is always tomorrow. I can always make changes tomorrow. And I think that whenever you have situations like this, that kind of shakes you a little bit and makes you, like, you never know what tomorrow brings and what is there. Do you think that has changed in any way how you approach your, like, life or fitness, or how you navigate things with your clients? Like, have you noticed any difference, or no?
We as business owners would, we would worry about certain things, whether it's revenue or launches or anything like that. And because we went through a hell that I wouldn't wish on anybody, it's nothing now.
Yeah.
Anything that we were worried about, nothing. It just, that compared to this, we're not afraid of anything.
It probably made you more resilient.
Of course it did. And we had our, like, highest year, like, by far, the year that this was happening. And we did have a day where we just cried and hugged, and we couldn't believe what we still accomplished with what we were going through. Like, I would be on, like, client calls, and I would have to just, like, take a second because I would have to cry because I just got done, like, holding her.
Yeah.
And then we had to leave her again, right? So, but all my clients understood.
That's awesome.
And my following was so great. All the NICU parents just came flooding in with love and advice.
I love that. And I saw on your feed, kind of like changing gears now, I saw on your feed the other day something that I get asked, like I get told sometimes, which is like, why are you so angry? I'm like, I'm not angry. I'm passionate because it pisses me off with
exactly.
Why are you so angry? Like, what is it? Like, what is it that lights the fire for you to, because I think that for me, whenever I'm very passionate about what I do and what I see, the transformations in people's lives, and that's the passion sometimes can come across as anger. What is it for you? Why are you so angry?
Well, I am very kind of, like, theatrical, and I understand that emotions can, like, create more engagement, and it makes it more impactful. Most of the time it's just me just being loud and annoyed as opposed to, like, actual anger. I always say that, like, my followers know that if I'm very, very angry, I'll put on, like, Moonlight, like, Sonata in the background, and I'll be a lot more stern and, like, direct, as opposed to just, like, yelling or being annoyed or calling names or something. So triggers a very deep emotional response, and then I usually make the content right then and there. I typically don't spend over 10 minutes on a post. It's all just, like, thought out there on the spot, and then I just post it because I have to get my feelings out.
Yeah. How did you start getting into social media?
I was a fitness manager for Crunch, and then I just wanted to be a master trainer, and I've worked there for like 6 years. And then 2020, obviously we were, like, furloughed, and we just had to take matters into our own hands because we weren't working. Right? Like, there was no in-person training, so I had to adapt. And that's when I started the journey on healing myself. I had a lot of work to do. I was still very messed up, and I had to deal with the depression of 2020 and our wedding being canceled and other things. And in real time, you could see me getting more comfortable in front of the camera and being more comfortable with my body, being less than perfect. And when I stand in front of the camera before my workouts that I post, they never do well. I don't post my workouts for other people. I do it for me because I condition myself to be in front of the camera even if I have body fat. and just to be comfortable, and also to just like show myself like, you just did that workout regardless of anything that anyone could say. If they don't like your body, that's on them, not you. And that's just how it happened. And then I pretty much knew who I was talking to, why I was talking to them, what problem I was solving. And then it just became effortless. I mean, I'll do 10 posts in a day without blinking.
Oh my God. Really? Holy shit.
Yeah. I've been doing almost 10 posts a day for like 3 years.
Oh my God. Like, you just made me twitch.
And like collectively, like unless there's like a lot of like wardrobe changes and stuff, it takes maybe like an hour out of my day to do all that.
Do you remember the day that I messaged you because I couldn't do like a green screen recording?
Oh,
and
yeah,
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm like, James, walk me through it like I'm 5. And you literally walked me through it like I was 5. So any green screen content that you see on my social media now is thanks to James and his endless amount of patience. And do you have a name for the alpha dude that you do that is like the very tight pants, the sunglasses? What do you call him?
He's Superior Jim.
Superior Jim. Where did the inspo come for that?
Just seeing them all over. I just had to troll them.
The alpha dudes?
And yeah. And the worst part is like, even though it's a parody, it's not that far off.
Oh, it's not. Like I created Jack the Ass. It's a spin on it. And I don't know what demographic you work with, but I work primarily with, like, I work only with women. And a lot of times, sometimes the husbands will come on the call. And like, I would say 9 out of 10 times, the husbands are incredibly supportive. And I will always celebrate the supportive husbands. But fuck me sideways, some of the, like, the bad ones that I've come across. Like it takes, like, I still remember calls that I had like 3 years ago, in the words that the husbands say. Have you ever had experience with like husbands that you took every ounce of your being to not be personal about the interaction because of how toxic you are, how toxic the relationship was?
Well, one of the first things I ask is like, tell me about your like support system, because I wanted to go into that before I have them invest. And
no, but that's the thing. I find that a lot of times, whenever you are in this kind of environment for women, and that's why I feel like I'm so vocal about women having their own independence and standing on their own 2 feet. I feel like a lot of times when women are in this kind of like more like abusive kind of scenarios, or like being disrespected in their relationship, they don't even see it because that's the norm. So I think that even whenever you ask what's your support system, they're like, oh, my husband is great. And then you meet the guy and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, no, that's true. But I haven't really encountered someone's husband being toxic with like their body or so. I've encountered jealous husbands who didn't like that I was a male coach.
Really? How does that go?
Just like, my husband didn't really like that, like, you're like a good looking guy and all that, and that like we're talking so like intimately. And I'm like, well, it's only weird if you make it weird.
And I'm
like,
married. Like,
yeah, right. Like this is not how I pick up chicks. Like, this is my job, but like, okay. And I'm usually like, I'd be happy to talk to him. I'm not just some like player or something. But that's what I've encountered. But it never got taken too far. Eventually, they would get to understand me.
I've had a husband call his wife fat on the call.
No, really?
Oh, if I told you some of that, like, you guys, if you want a full episode of the Unhinged stories, I might have to adapt a little bit because I don't feel like getting sued.
Right.
But some of these stories, like, I've had to hang up on a couple. Like, literally, I'm out. Like, y'all have a much bigger problem than fitness is going to solve. Like, this guy said that his wife was fat and that she couldn't keep up with the things that the family wanted to do, and that she wasn't worthy paying to get help.
I'm really sorry. That sucks. I don't think I would have been able to keep my cool if I heard that.
I was twitching, like, legit. Like, I was.
Yeah.
And even my kids, sometimes I come and tell my husband these stories, and then they're like, "What? Do you have any stories today?" James, is there anything that you'd like to add for our conversation? Thank you for taking the time to chat with me today. Is there anything that you want to add, that you want to talk about that maybe I didn't cover?
No, it's just basically just I feel like going back to when I originally called you out and about just me missing context and us just not understanding each other in the beginning. I feel like there's such a problem out there of people wanting to be polarizing and can't like meet like in the middle. Like so many people think that I just tell people to just remain overweight, right? And just like to eat junk food. Whereas like literally any time that I support people, I tell them exactly what to do the same way you would. We just maybe have different ways of approaching it, especially with your bodybuilding background, but ultimately we want the same thing. And I feel like the fitness space would be so much more positive if we didn't just label one group as toxic or one group as just body positive. It's just a human being that understands that people are going through something and that it's emotional, it's difficult. In no way, shape, or form are we better than them because we've achieved it, but we do have the tools and expertise to walk them through it, and we should do so with respect. And that should be an underlying thing in the fitness industry, and it's not, because people want shock value. People treat themselves horribly, so they think they have to treat others horribly. And to anyone out there who's just starting out, if you want to go down that road of just talking down to your potential clientele and everything, just please know that in the long run, you're going to chase people away. It's not going to be what you think. Stop trying to impress your peers. Be there for the people who need help.
No, I agree. I also think that like right now we have a problem in the industry that is like the overcomplication of things. I think that it makes our job as fitness professionals a lot more difficult. I was listening today. I'm thinking on how I'm going to do this episode, but it's the episode with Stacey Sims and Dr. Lauren Colenso. Simple. I don't know if you have listened to it with Dr. Nadolski on their podcast, Doctors Who Lift. And I mean, you've been in the fitness industry for how long?
Almost 20 years.
Same as me. And a lot of the conversation, there was shit that they were like that, especially Stacey Sims, it was kind of like trying to use this very elevated language that even if you understand, you have no idea what the fuck she's saying. You know, and I think that we have a lot of that, this need to overcomplicate things that I think is creating a barrier of accessibility to most people to get started because they're trying to optimize shit.
Yeah, right.
If you put lipstick in a pig, it's still a fucking pig. So you're trying to optimize a very shady strategy because, oh my goodness, this expert said, and it's like, it doesn't move the needle. And then it keeps people stuck and frustrated. So yeah.
I think that they care about the validation from like-minded peers more so than their potential audience or their like potential clientele. And I think that they take the responses from their potential clientele with a grain of salt because they think that they're weaker. And they're like, obviously they love me. I don't want their approval. I want their approval. But why do you want their approval? Do you feel that inadequate? Yeah. Are they paying your bills? No, this is just for your ego.
Yeah, no, I agree. I always say that if you cannot explain something to me like I'm 5, and I think that having kids has been a very good exercise for me to kind of like be able to explain things because my son is the why man. Everything is a why. So I think that being able to explain things in a very fundamental and basic level to him has helped me also like become a better coach. And I think you're going to see that with your daughter.
Yeah, it also shows that you have a better understanding. It shows that you have a better understanding if you can like condense it and bring it down. Yeah. Absolutely.
Agree 100%. Well, James, tell people where they can find you on social so they can see Tammy, they can see, what is the name of the guy? Simple.
No, not Simple Gym. Superior Gym.
Superior Gym. And all the other alter egos that you have. Where can people find you?
So Instagram is James_Cappola, CAPPOLA. And TikTok is James_Cappola_fit coach. And YouTube is James.Cappola.
Awesome. I'm going to put all the links in the show notes, guys, as well, so you can check it out. And James, thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for your time. It was a pleasure. And give a kiss in your whole family and your beautiful baby daughter on my behalf.
I will.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in this week. But let me ask you, what was your aha moment in today's episode? I would love to know. You can leave me a comment at the link in the show description. You can also follow me on social media, Instagram. Links are down below as well. And let me know what topics you want to hear more about or who I should have on the show. This is it for today, guys. I'll see you back next week for another episode of the Unfiltered Fit Life podcast.